The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors, right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is not Percy Ihara. He can't make it this afternoon. However, my name is Scott Spallina. I'm a contributing writer to Generations Magazine. I'm also the head of the Elder Abuse Unit at the Prosecutor's Office, and I'm part of the Generations Network. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, well, listen up here. You're listening to Generations Radio, which is part of Generations Magazine. Now, what's Generations Magazine? It's a free publication that you can find anywhere in the state of Hawaii, including neighbor islands. Also, you can find it in Vegas. I'm finding out that now it's being distributed in certain hotels like the Cal in Vegas. And it is a resource magazine for seniors, for caregivers, for families, for anybody that knows anybody that's getting older. It's a fantastic resource. And it's chock full, if people still use that term, chock full of helpful information, including my articles about elder abuse in every issue. And you can find it anywhere that you'd expect to find it. The public libraries, you can find it. Some of the kiosks down in town, you can find it. I personally get mine at Beartania Safeway, so don't take too many of those from there. Big City Diner, you can find it. Well, let's see here. So, oh my gosh, if I were to read you this list, we'd be the next half hour or next hour, just me going through it, because not only is there a lot, but also I read slowly. So that's why just take a look at it. Now, if you're too lazy to go looking for the magazine, there's something called the computer and the internet for you old-timey people out there. You can hop on this highway super information freeway or whatever it's called and go to www.generations808.com, and it's a website that not only will it have the current and past issues of Generations Magazine, but also if you're listening to this radio show and say, boy, that's Scott Spallina, he's such a dynamic speaker, I want to listen to him over and over and over again, you can, because the radio shows are recorded on generations808.com. And so if you hear something that you really like from our guest, and she has lots of great things to say, then you can listen to that. And if you're listening to us on Saturday, if you're driving around doing your errands and stuff like that, and you miss a number, listen to us again on Sunday, because we actually re-air this show on Sunday. Same station, I believe, from 3 to 4 p.m. So after church, before your nap, take a listen to us again if you choose to. And before we begin with our special guest today, I want to give a shout out to the Aging in Place Conference coming up August 20th. That's right, just a couple of weeks away. Now, what's the Aging in Place Conference, you might say? Well, Percy Ihara, the publisher of Generations Magazine, he says, you know what? Growing old is very expensive in Hawaii. And one way to make it less expensive, and also seniors want to stay at home, is to age in place, to age at home, to not feel the need to be shuffled off into a care home or whatever. So this Aging in Place conference provides resources for people, provides advice for people, provides information for people that want to age in place, that want mom and dad to stay at home as long as they can, safely and independently, or to provide a break for the caregivers. And so I encourage anybody that has a senior parent to plan ahead and go to this conference. It's a free conference, the Ala Moana Hotel. You go there, and then afterwards you can go to Ala Moana Shopping Center, do some shopping and all that fun stuff there. There's plenty of parking there. So please, it's August 20th, a couple Saturdays from today, and it's from 8, I believe, in the morning to about 3-ish in the afternoon. And not only will there be all these information booths there, including myself, but there's breakout rooms as well. So they'll have all these great speakers talking about great things like Medicare and Medicaid, talking about fall prevention, talking about safety in the home, talking about fire prevention, talking about Social Security, talking about anything and everything dealing with the topic of aging in place, aging at home. So I encourage you to please go to this free conference all day on Saturday, August 20th, at the Ala Moana Hotel. Now, having plugged everything generations related, we are now going to talk to our special guest, Christina Wong. And one reason I wanted Christina, she's from Ultras, with us is what happened in my own family. I have been involved with elder issues as the head of the elder abuse unit since 2008. And almost at that time, my own father-in-law, he suffered a massive stroke, and he was fully paralyzed on the right side of his body. And let me tell anybody that's not a caregiver, the odds are if you have a parent or a grandparent, there's better than 50% likelihood you're going to become a caregiver. Everybody's one stroke away from needing care. Everybody is a heart attack, a fall, broken hip away from needing assistance. So please, 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 and I see this all the time in my job, don't become instantly overwhelmed with the task of being a instant caregiver. Because what happens when we're overwhelmed with things, we make poor decisions. We spend a lot of money. It makes sense. We spend a lot of money quickly and make mistakes in doing so, and we get victimized by scams or by snake oil salesmen or whatever. So I encourage you to plan ahead. Now, one of the great reasons that I invited Christina Wong over to join us this afternoon is the services she provides. Now I'm going to have her explain who she is, who she works for, and what services she does provide. First of all, Christina, thank you for coming to the Generations Radio Show this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now, who the hell are you?
So my name's Christina Wong. I'm one of the care managers at Home Care by All Trust Medical. And my job is to hire qualified caregivers to provide home care services for clients across the island of Oahu.
So basically, just so that I'm clear, you don't run a care home. You don't run an adult daycare. In fact, you take your services to the home of your patients.
Right.
Okay. So that way it allows someone that is in need of caregiving to stay at home.
Right. To age in place.
To age in place. Very good.
Exactly.
There. Now, how do you do this? You indicated that you have, what would you call them? Home health aides?
Yes. Okay. So we, I guess I can kind of start from the beginning. Basically, we, like I said, we interview caregivers. And part of that interviewing process, we go into depth of why they want to choose this profession. As a home health aide, you have to have a certain level of skills because you're providing hands-on care. And then we also have personal care assistants who are not hands-on care, but trying to determine what qualifies them to be a personal care assistant.
Now I wish I knew about you guys, again, like almost 10 years ago when my father-in-law had a stroke, because when my father-in-law had a stroke, guess what my mother-in-law did? She tried to find someone to help out the family, and do you know where she went? She went on Craigslist, okay?
Oh,
she went on Craigslist and put out an ad, and for those of you that don't know what Craigslist is, it's an internet, online, classified ad thing, but anybody can post on it. So if you want to buy a stolen car, you go on Craigslist. If you want to get a hooker, you go on Craigslist. What my mother-in-law did, she went on Craigslist to look for assistance, to look for a caregiver to come into the home. And predictably, guess what happened? She found a crook. She found someone that came into our house, represented that she was a certified nurse, represented that she was going to open up her own care facility, represented that she was like a brain surgeon. I mean, she had all these. She represented. She's a Christian woman. Represented this, that, and the other. And we found out. And then she quoted this remarkable price of like $10 an hour. And it's like, oh my gosh. And because my mother-in-law was so desperate, because she's an instant caregiver, overwhelmed with the responsibility of being a caregiver, she jumped at this. She jumps in. Oh my gosh, I've been quoted like 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus dollars an hour to have someone come into the home and help us. And this angel from above is quoting us $10 an hour. I am going to jump on this. I'm gonna be cheap and get the best care possible. And it did not work out. That we'll say that for another show of what happened there. But Christina, is my story unique?
Unfortunately, it's not. It's we do hear that too, that there are people who abuse the system, and they can get into the home, especially off of Craigslist. And we have a lot of our clients who have used Craigslist in the past.
Really?
Mm-hmm. What we like to ensure with our clients is that all of our caregivers do undergo a background check, drug screen.
Very good.
They're
Very
bonded.
Good. Mm-hmm. And that I like the whole drug screen thing. Again, coming from law enforcement background, to me that tells you that, I mean, a lot of crimes, especially property type of crimes, are to fuel a drug habit. And so when you have somebody that has a drug habit, or someone that's even drinking on the job, they're going to make mistakes. But with drug screening that Altruist provides, I'm sure that gives your, what do you call them, clients, patients? Clients, some peace of mind.
Yes.
Now, when would you advise someone to seek out your services?
I would advise everybody that is in the situation to possibly care for their elders or even for themselves in the future to research it now, because what ends up happening is a lot of people tend to wait till the last minute to seek out services, and it's kind of a scramble where they don't have enough research behind it. They and the understanding of home care. And sometimes we can't provide the service either because they maybe need a higher level of care, like a nursing home or skilled.
Unrealistic expectations.
Exactly.
Because, if someone did need 24-hour care in a care facility, you would not say, oh, we can take care of that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
If they need skilled nursing, we absolutely would refer them to One Kalakaua, Arcadia, different people that can help them.
So an appropriate care.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's smart there, because you don't want to, even though you would like the business, you don't want to be irresponsible enough and set yourself up for
absolutely
some trouble later on down the line. And I'm sure that people appreciate that honesty.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Because let me tell you, I'm sure that you see this all the time when people knock on the door of Altruist and say, hey, we need help. I imagine that part of your job is not only trying to find the right caregiver for the patient involved, or the client involved, but also probably a lot of it is counseling or therapy almost.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because you got so many people overwhelmed with these emotions of becoming an instant caregiver.
Right. Yeah. And we do that with our caregivers too. Sometimes the shift could be difficult, and we are, as a counselor, there to provide added services or resources. We have a lot of resources at the office, so sometimes the family has hired us on to assist, and things will come up, and then they'll need medical supplies, or they don't have like an understanding of dementia or different.
I'm not to say that you guys are experts in everything,
right.
But you're probably more educated than a family member that's never had to deal with this before.
Yes.
Now, you work with Altruist. You're a care manager. Is that your title?
Care manager.
Care manager. Okay. Now, if someone were listening to Generations Radio, what number would they call to reach you guys?
They would call 591-4933.
4930. So that's 591-4930. And we're going to repeat that number towards the end of the show. If you missed that number, and again, you can listen to us again on Sunday to get that number, or you can get it at generations808.com for any of this information. If you happen to be driving around, don't have a pen, want to pull over the side of the road and write down that number of 591-4930. And for those of you just tuning into Generations Radio for the first time, we are part of the Generations Network and part of the Generations Magazine. And today we're talking to Christina Wong, who is the care manager at Ultras. And to summarize, basically Ultras is a service that you can go and get help for aging in place. They have care providers that they send out to your home. And do you provide 24-hour care, or is it different levels of care, or what with respect to how often does someone go out there?
It's anywhere from a 3-hour minimum to 24-hour care. So depending on what the client is looking for, we would schedule out those hours that way. So sometimes we do respite care, where we're only there a few hours a day, a couple days a week to help.
And that's so important because if you're a caregiver, and most of the caregivers on a wall who are family members are the adult children of our kapuna that have been forced into a situation of caregiving and may not be fully prepared to become a caregiver, even though they might have been a successful plumber, accountant, lawyer. When they become a caregiver, oftentimes it is very overwhelming, and they do need a break, or they do need to not only recharge their batteries in order to not succumb to caregiver stress, but also maybe to take classes on how to properly transfer. And they might be saying, like, Scott, how can I take classes when I have to still be at home to be a caregiver? I want to become a better caregiver. I want to go to some of these free classes out there, but I can't become a better caregiver because I'm a caregiver right now. And it sounds like the services that Ultras provides is exactly what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, this is radio, so you can't nod up and
I'm
down.
sorry.
Okay, Christina. For those of you that and close your eyes unless you're driving and say, okay, Christina must be nodding up and down and being with Scott there. So, okay. So how many home health aides do you have right now?
I would say we have about 30 home health aides.
30 home health aides. Okay. And again, these are people that you have pre-screened, that you have basically done the background check, do the urinalysis testing, check the references to assure that you can put them in a home environment.
Yes.
And then that's one thing is I'm sure people listening out there saying, you know what? I really don't want strangers to come into my house and see my dirty laundry on the floor, or, I mean, how do you get beyond that hurdle of the hesitancy that maybe the kapuna have with having strangers come into their house?
It takes some time. A lot of the family members will sometimes agree to stay on for the first visit with
smart.
our caregivers.
That's smart.
So it helps them kind of relate that this person's here to help, and it's a benefit, not a they're not doing anything to harm the client
or not an invasion of privacy.
Right.
Do you oftentimes find like friendships forming if you have, let's say, a regular caregiver coming in to help the patient?
We do. And it's really nice because we do have some clients who are very specific about who comes into their home, and they always request the same caregiver. We like to have continuity with our clients.
Okay, and that's important. That's important.
So if it's a full-time case, we would like to staff the same caregiver with them. And, sometimes it takes time to make sure that caregiver and that client are a good fit. So we work with the families and we work with the client to get to that point. And so it might take a couple of different caregivers and visits, but we feel like we've gotten there with all of our clients.
Now, how do you determine, like, okay, when can someone hire you? does it have to be when mom and dad have suffered a big illness, or I mean, is there any minimum severity of ailment to hire you guys?
No, they can hire us at any point. I don't think that there has to be a minimum, but I think if you're caring for your own mother or father and you need time for yourself, and it's just a couple hours, one day a week or twice a week, I would definitely consider reaching out to Altress or another agency that can provide that service.
Okay. And I'm sure that you do have, let's say, mom or dad that's just frail. I mean, they can get around, but they're kind of frail, kind of like unsteady on their feet. And so maybe they live at home with their daughter and they haven't suffered like a stroke or a heart attack or anything debilitating, but just for peace of mind, the adult children want somebody around. Have you guys experienced that situation before?
Yes. So like monitoring.
Yeah.
And
monitoring.
and sometimes the client doesn't need any physical assistance. They're very independent. But like for example, having a client who should not be driving anymore.
Okay.
Very independent, but just behind the wheel it's not appropriate for them to be driving.
Okay.
So our caregivers, personal care assistants, because it's non-hands-on care,
Right.
can come in and take them grocery shopping,
Oh,
to run
excellent.
errands, things like that.
That sounds a lot better than like just dialing up the cab or contacting Uber and saying,
Right.
okay, my mom and dad want to go someplace like that. It sounds like for lack of a better term, they have a personal chauffeur.
Yes.
They can help them. And I'm sure they get a kick out of that as well there. What about now in a situation that we were just describing, what would your home health aide do in a situation if the client that they're hired to monitor, I mean, they just don't sit there and do needlepoint, or what do they do?
While they're at the house,
Yes.
they would they interact with the client. So
Okay.
if no physical assistance is required, a lot of times they can help to manage the house, light housekeeping, meal
Really?
preparation.
Oh my gosh.
So they have other things that they can do during the, I guess you would call it downtime.
Yes,
Where
yes,
it's
yes.
they're not needed immediately. We have one client who the caregiver is assisting with organizing all their paperwork. So
That's
they work on
fantastic.
that together when it's not necessary for her to bathe or she's not preparing her meals.
And I think that's important for people out there listening to the show, is they might think like, oh, mom and dad, they can take care of themselves, they can do this. But it sounds like you provide more than just physical health care. You can help run the house better. You can provide the social interaction that I think we all need, being social creatures, but also the meal preparation. That's probably something that people don't associate home health aides doing.
Yes.
Oh, very good, very good. That. I learned something new today as well. Now you say that you don't do, like, if someone is totally disabled, meaning that they can't get out of bed or they need to be hooked up to machines and wires and stuff like that. Is that beyond your guys' level?
That is beyond our level. Anything that involves nursing, a nursing level of care, skilled nursing, would be, you would have to seek out an RN or, like I said, look into a facility that's better equipped and staffed to take care of that need. So we don't assist with medication management. We can
Okay.
do medication reminders for the
Okay.
client, but we don't administer any type of
So
medication.
you're not given shots.
No.
But you can, let's say, I mean, there's places like 5 Minute Pharmacy and these places that like will separate the medication, saying, okay, this is your 8 o'clock dose, this is your 3 o'clock dose, or whatever. You would not physically give them that, but you say, hey, okay, it's time for your medication.
Right.
Okay.
And
So-
the families can also separate it too, which is what we have them do.
Okay,
And
very
then
good.
we know that at lunchtime they take these medications and breakfast. And
Oh, okay, very good. So you have that. Now, do you help with bathing at all, or that?
our home health aides do. Our home health aides will assist with bathing and toileting,
Okay.
dressing changes.
Okay. Okay, so then you guys are very hands-on then.
We can't. Yes.
Okay. So it's only when the big machines need to be rolled in that maybe that's beyond your area.
Monitoring oxygen tanks, those are all things that a nurse would have to do.
Okay, so that's good to know for someone listening to the show and saying, you know what, that Christina Wong, she sounds like a nice lady. It sounds like Altruist is a very responsible organization, and they provide competent, safe, secure helpers in there, but I don't know if we qualify or not because mom fell down and she needs help with X, Y, and Z. It sounds like you guys do a lot of help. But you will be honest and say, we can't help you though.
Right.
Okay, and that's very important. And what I like, and here's the situation is that my father-in-law, he had a stroke a while ago, and he wants to get out to go to, his favorite activities is going to the movies and going to eat leaky and get some bad food over there, like the oxtail soup and the hamburger steak. You guys would do that?
Yes, we would. Oh. We would escort him there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, if ever I get tired of Leaky's oxtail soup, I might call you guys up. But right now, it's still the best. Right now, we are talking with Christina Wong of Altruist. She's the care manager, and we're coming upon our bottom of the hour break. So at this time, I'm going to plug Generations a little bit more. You're listening to Generations Radio, for those of you that's driving around. And we're part of the Generations Network. Percy Ihara, he's the man, the myth, the legend. He's the publisher of Generations Magazine, which is, it's called Generations, Hawaii's Resource for Life. And it's a magazine geared towards seniors, geared towards people that are a little later on in life, but not slowing down. And it's retirement planning. It's actually this is all about the Cal in Las Vegas because we got a lot of Vegas gamblers out there. But the current issue on the stands right now, the featured article is about Vegas, but also in looking at the magazine that you can find free at all the places around the island. There's articles about the rail or bus. Ooh, that's going to be controversial. I'm going to have to read that one there. Of course, there's my article about elder abuse, which everybody should always flip to the back of the magazine and read. There's also recipes in the magazine, the Mediterranean roasted veggie and garbanzo salad. Sounds too healthy because I don't see bacon as one of the ingredients in there. But it is a resource that you can get for free. Not only are we talking about the Generations magazine, and you're listening to Generations Radio, but in a couple weeks, there's going to be the Aging in Place Conference. What this is a conference at the Ala Moana Hotel, and it's going to be free because everybody can afford free, so no excuses there. And it's at the Ala Moana Hotel Saturday, August 20th from about 8 o'clock to 3 or something like that. And actually, Christine, I see you guys out there, right?
We will be there.
We will be. I've seen you out there in the past as well.
Yes.
And so just go to it. There's a lot of great speakers. You'll shake hands with Miss Wong over here. You'll be able to see me there, and you'll be able to get a ton of information about aging in place, because it is so expensive to age in place in Hawaii, especially in Hawaii. But we do want the best for our kapuna because we do love them. They have raised us. They deserve the best that we can afford. And I don't only mean afford money-wise, but afford time-wise, and making sure that they get the best resources available. And that's why it's so important to have Altruist and Christina helping out our kapuna to take care of them in the best place imaginable to take care of somebody, which is their home. We all have special memories of the home that we grew up in, we grew our children in, and if we can age in place, age at home, then that's the best place to do it. We will continue our conversation with Christina Wong after these messages. Thank you very much.
We will be right back with Percy Ihara from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
Moon Physical Therapy is here to help you back to recovery. Moon Physical Therapy is located on Ward Avenue across from Sports Authority. Physician prescribed for motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, or that body pain that comes from rushing to play without warming up. Also event cardiopulmonary rehabilitation with our one-on-one patient care. Moon's Aquatherapy heated endless pool allows for low-impact exercise with less pain on land. We will give you the right exercises to get you back to health. Ask your doctor to prescribe Moon Physical Therapy. Moon Physical Therapy. We achieve results.
Aloha, this is Martha Clopin.
And Al Harrington. Choosing the right Medicare plan not only saves you money, it also helps you avoid headaches and heartaches down the road.
We want to remind everyone
to listen to a Medicare Moment with Martha, Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we help answer important questions on Medicare so you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise all year long.
Call me at 543-2073, 543-2073.
I was an addict from the age of 13. I finally decided it was time for a change. I walked into the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and that got me ready for the real world. Now, I choose to be guided by Jesus Christ, and today, I'm building a powerful and promising future, free from drugs and alcohol.
Please shop at the Salvation Army family stores. With our discounted sales, your support through your purchase helps men live a clean, sober, and productive life.
Got Vegas on your mind? Get Vacations Hawaii on the line. Vacations Hawaii offers weekly 4 and 5 night Honolulu to Vegas packages, which include 3 meals daily from $6.99. Stay at Hawaii's favorite casinos: California, Fremont, Main Street Station, and Orleans Hotel. Vacations Hawaii will get you there in comfort on deluxe wide-body 767 planes with complimentary in-flight hot meal service. Vacations Hawaii's frequent flyer program gives you future travel discounts and credits. So if you're ready to win big, call Vacations Hawaii at 591-4777 or visit pointVacationsHawaii.com.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy Ihara from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690, The Answer. Focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the 50th state. I am not Percy Ihara. I'm his better-looking twin, Scott Spallina. I'm part of the Generations Magazine Network. Percy cannot be here today. Most likely he's playing golf, and he sucks at golf, so he's probably there still on the 12th hole, I'm sure. But today, I have the honor and privilege of hosting Generations Radio. Now, for those of you who do not know what Generations Radio is, well, listen up and listen loudly. We're part of the Generations Network, meaning that we're part of Generations Magazine. The Generations Magazine is a free publication, so you can afford it. All over the island of Hawaii, all over the islands, plural, of Hawaii. And you can pick it up. I'm not going to tell you where to pick it up because this is too long a list. Because I know I get mine at either the library or Safeway on Beretania or Big City Diner. But you can find it a lot of places. If you're too lazy to look for it, well, then turn on your computer, turn off the porn, and go to generations808.com. And you'll be able to find the current and past issues of it there, along with the past episodes of Generations Radio. Now, what's Generations Radio? Generations Radio is another resource for people growing old. Who's that? Everybody's growing old. Get with the program here. Everybody's growing old. we're all going to need help maybe, or we want ways to prevent us from needing help. And that's one reason that we're a resource for our kapuna, for people that love our kapuna, for the children, caregivers, whomever that need information about growing old, happy, healthy, and wise. And in a couple weeks, you'll have the opportunity to talk to the experts in aging. It's going to be at the Ala Moana Hotel, August 20th, Aging in Place Conference. And there you will meet some of the best people in Hawaii to talk about aging. And who's going to be there? Well, me. I'm a best person, but also another best person that's going to be there is Christina Wong. She is our guest today, and she's from Altris. She's a care manager, and she does a fantastic job of what she does. And we were talking before the break about needing help, about how families want their elders to stay at home, be with the family as much as possible, be with the grandchildren, be at a place that they grew up in, that they raised their children in. And that can only happen sometimes with outside help. The solution is not just to throw mom and dad into a care home and feel bad about it. There is another solution, and that is hiring an agency like Altris to come in and have their experts help you through a very difficult part of a kapuna's life, which may be the kapuna needing help. That may be that they're not as independent as you would like them to be, or they may have suffered an illness, ailment, whatever. And so it's like having your good friends come in and help out. Like the old-fashioned barn raising that you see in the movies and everything, where the whole family comes together, the whole community comes together to help out a person in need. And that's what Altris is. Altris is someone you can call. You can call them at 591-4930. Again, that's 591-4930, and say, you know what? Hey, Christina, we need help. Can you send over somebody to help us out there? Now, having said that, Altris, tell us a little bit more about Altris, Christina. Now, I drive around all the time. I listen to talk radio, and I hear all these commercials from all these like mainland companies saying that, oh, you can hire these at-home caregivers, and you have all these like national celebrities saying, oh, there's a franchise opportunity, and you can just open it up and everything. Are you a mainland franchise?
We're not. We're a local company that was founded in 1969.
69?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. You were around when I was born. I wish I could say it was before I was born, but I can't. 1960. Oh my gosh. So you have been around a while then.
We have. We initially started out doing industrial staffing.
Okay.
And then we grew and added on clerical, medical, IT, information technology.
Okay.
And we now also have a Simplicity HR division that assists with human resources for other companies on the island.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys must be doing something right then if you've been around for 40 some odd years, almost
Yes.
50 years there. Okay. Okay. So we know you're not going to go out of business. That's good to know. That's good to know. If I hire somebody, if I get a home health care aid from you guys, I know you are not going to leave the islands and shudder and leave us out in the cold one day, because you have proven yourself to be a successful company. And what got you involved with Altris?
Well, I had a passion working in home care.
Okay.
I used to work at a hospital.
Oh, wow.
And during my training for my nurse aide license,
Mm-hmm.
I was around a lot of different assisted living facilities, and I just kind of realized that, when my parents need help later on down the line, I would rather them be at home as opposed to a facility.
Right.
Because a lot of the patients that we were there helping with could easily be treated at home or cared for at home.
Yes.
So when about a few years ago, Altris Medical was branching out into doing a home care division.
Right.
So I met with the personal managers there, and I've been with them for the last 3 years.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Now, not to sound paquet, but I am. Is it cheaper to put mom and dad in a facility or to have your experts come out and help them?
It depends.
Okay.
It is, if you're looking at 24/7 care,
Okay.
It can get costly.
Okay.
And it might be a better option for a care home or an assisted living facility. But if you're looking at respite care or just a few days a week to monitor and be there while nobody else can be there with the client, then it can be affordable.
Okay, now, what's respite care? You used that before, that term.
Respite care is, let's say you are the daughter or son and you're taking care of your parent. And for most adults taking care of their parents, it's 24/7 for them. So there's moments where our clients' children need time for themselves.
Right, exactly.
And that's the respite care.
And so just basically a break. And they deserve a break just to recharge their batteries, to not succumb to caregiver stress.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of caregiver stress, so how do you monitor to make sure that the caregivers you send out aren't succumbing to caregiver stress?
They actually call us and we speak with them after hours, during business days. And we always like them to know that there's a extremely open line of communication. They can reach out to us if they have concerns. We do have a hotline that our employees and our caregivers can call that provides therapy.
No joke.
Yeah, no,
really.
No joke, yeah. And
that's great.
So we've had a couple caregivers that we've referred to this program that we have in house for our staff.
Because you do not want to have a burned out caregiver caring for a senior.
And sometimes it's hard for them to maybe confide or disclose how
Exactly.
they're feeling to us, so they have the opportunity to do it with a therapist.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm sure that when you tell families that's probably a big load off their mind, because they don't want to have a caregiver that had a bad day or is having a bad day care for their mom and dad who may be dependent.
And we do tell them to, if they're not able to report to their shift in a professional manner where something else is going on, just to call us and we will try to find a replacement for the day.
And I think that's a very, very important thing. We talked about maybe hiring somebody off of Craigslist, an individual that maybe does not have a team approach that Altruist has, to where if you hire one person, let's say your friend's auntie's cousin's niece, comes in and says, oh, I can be a caregiver and stuff like that. But then let's say that person is sick. Then you have a family that's scrambling to find replacement for that person or has to take off from work or whatever like that. Whereas with Altruist, it sounds like you have multiple people that you can just send in at the last minute.
Sometimes we do, and other times we don't. So what we like to do at the home assessment, when we're first meeting with the clients, is to kind of create a plan B with the family.
Oh, that's
so
clever.
We understand what the process will be because there's no accounting for an emergency or a last minute sick call. So we like to kind of be really clear and open about that. But we do everything in our power to try to get the shift covered if somebody's unable to arrive for it.
Okay. Now, do you guys do, excuse me, do you guys do any sort of inspection to make sure that the people that you send out are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Yes, we do follow-up visits. So we do them every 30 days for the first 3 months. And then we also do additional follow-ups as well. If there's a concern, we definitely do surprise home visits.
Oh, really? Okay, so you're actually checking up on your own healthcare providers. That's excellent there, because I know that, and call me paranoid, but I'm paranoid. If I were to hire anybody to care for my parents, I would want to make sure that they are doing a competent job. And if that caregiver I bring into my house to care for my parents is being monitored through surprise inspections by their boss, that kind of makes you feel better.
Right. Well, my grandmother actually uses our service.
Really?
So when I'm in the interview process and I'm meeting with the caregivers, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, is this someone who is qualified, who I would trust in my own grandmother's home to be with her?
Yeah,
so I'm.
Oh, and your grandmother probably gets the best of the best, huh?
She loves her caregiver. Well, the thing too, my grandmother actually went through a couple caregivers before she found that good fit. And now her and her caregiver are inseparable. They're buddies.
Oh, excellent. Well, you bring up a good point now. How do you match a caregiver to a patient?
So a lot of times, especially if it's a home health aide where it's hands-on care, we like to know the diagnosis because some of our caregivers are experienced in diabetes, dialysis, or dementia. So we like to see who's got that experience and the client, what their needs are.
And actually, you bring up a good point. We talked about how your caregivers can actually drive their patients, or what do you call it? Patients, guests, what do you call
clients?
Clients, okay. How the caregiver can actually drive clients to different places. I'm assuming that would also be dialysis.
Exactly.
Okay. And
doctor's appointments.
Doctor's appointments, excellent. And you're telling me that you do actually have caregivers that have certain specialties, including dialysis or something like that.
They have a lot of experience. So we kind of hone in on what specific experience they have, and then we match that together with the client.
Yeah, because you don't want, I'm sure, again, coming from my point of view, I don't want to like hire somebody, like go to ultrasound and say, hey, I want somebody to care for my mom and dad, but my mom only likes this, or only does this, or maybe she's in the first stages of dementia, so she's kind of argumentative and stuff like that. You better not give me no hothead to come in down here, or you better not give me no like graduate from KCC that just has no experience. Do you listen to the family and like their needs?
Yes. So, and I can bring up an example with that. We actually had a client who, very independent. So it was just a personal care assistant, someone to sit there and be with the mother while nobody was around. And so we had two caregivers to choose from, and one had a lot more experience than the other.
Right.
And we reached out to the family. We said we have, two different caregivers available for the need. And, one of them has a little bit more experience than the other, and they felt more comfortable with that. So we stacked it that way.
And that's what it comes down to is the family caregiver, because, again, I know there's people out there listening to the show right now saying, gosh, Scott, I don't know if I can actually hire somebody to come into my house that I don't know as a stranger to help care for my mom who can't really help herself or can't defend herself if this person turns out to be a bad egg. But it sounds like you guys have so many different redundancy systems, safety systems in play to prevent anything like that from happening.
Yes, and a lot of double checking and documentation is all done. So if I'm not in the office, people can look at my notes and see what that specific client is needing, or what an alert that this is something that we got to keep an eye out for or manage accordingly.
Well, like I say, I mean, you guys must be doing something right in that Altris has been around since 1968, I believe you said?
69.
69. Okay, 1969. And that tells me that you've learned from mistakes. You've learned what to avoid, how to prevent certain things that create liability. And so that's a testament to itself. Now, it sounds like obviously you have a passion and you have a vested interest in this company to where you want to do right not only by your grandmother, but by people that are maybe in your grandmother's same position. That must be very stressful to you.
It can be. It can be sometimes. We definitely want to make sure that everybody's happy in the end, including our clients and our caregivers.
Why is it important to have the caregiver happy?
I think if the caregiver's not happy, the client will see that, and it'll make it a very trying relationship that way.
That sounds like that would be like the hardest part of your job right there.
Yes, it can be. So we definitely like to manage that and make sure that they know that they can contact us if they're unable to make it to their shift because there's something else going on that they won't be able to provide the service that we are giving.
And that's one thing is it's not a sign of weakness to reach out to get help. That's one thing that I've learned in this whole caregiver arena is that you get a lot of family members that feel guilty that they can't do 100% for their parents, that they cannot provide the care, that they can't be the Superman they envision themselves by going to work, but also taking care of mom and dad, or taking care of their own family, or cooking all the meals, or taking them to doctors, getting time off from work. And I think a lot of people have a very hard time realizing their own shortcomings, realizing they can't do everything. Yet with a service like Altruis, with the services you provide, with the efforts you make to make it everybody happy, a win-win situation, going for that ultimate win-win situation, I'm sure that allows the adult children to give up that responsibility that they've had.
Yes, it does. So it gives them the break they need too.
Now, have you seen, like, from your first meeting with a family to later on, have you seen changes, positive changes in that family dynamics?
Mm-hmm.
And what have you seen?
I've seen a relaxation. When you meet with them and you do your follow-up visits, the client is happy, the caregiver's doing well, the family's they're all at peace with each other. There's no, you do see the blanket of stress that was there before, no longer there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really appreciate with Percy Ihara and the Generations Network, is to provide resources, to provide information out there for families, because anybody in a caregiving situation, or anybody fearing being put in a caregiver situation, needs to know about these resources. And that's why on Generations Radio today, we are talking to Christina Wong of Altruis, and you can reach out to her and her company, local company, been around since 1969. You can reach out to them at 591-4930. They provide quality care at your home for mom and dad. And now I'm not only talking to the caregivers out there, and most of you caregivers are family members taking care of mom and dad who you love greatly, but also I'm talking to mom and dad yourself. If you're listening to Generations Radio and you have a loved one caring for you, and you do see subtle changes to your son or daughter, you do see that they are stressed more, short-tempered, maybe yelling more at you, maybe like getting sick or making stupid decisions or doing things that are harming themselves, drinking more or whatever like that, they may be suffering from caregiver stress. And it's nothing that you need to be embarrassed or ashamed or guilty of. That's just human nature. They're working hard and they're overwhelmed because they love you so much and they want to give you the best care imaginable. And that's why it's important for us at Generations Radio to bring Christina Wong and introduce you to Altruis, introduce you to a company that can, as she said, remove that blanket of stress from the whole house. Because you do want to have your children back to having a loving relationship and not be burdened with caring for somebody they love. Because they do love you, but sometimes they even need help. And so we encourage people to, in even the planning stages, give Christina a call at 591-4930. Christina, any final thoughts?
If you have any questions at all, even if it's not necessarily for home care, but maybe another facility or the options that are out there, please feel free to call us too. We have a lot of resources at our disposal, and we'd be happy to help you at any time. That's
great advice. And actually, you can actually see Christina on August 20th at the Aging in Place Conference at the Alamoana Hotel. That's Saturday, August 20th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., I believe. Please seek out Altruis. Please seek out the resources available at the Aging in Place Conference at the Alamoana Hotel. I'll be there to answer any questions you might have about elder abuse. Christina will be there to provide her knowledge of how she can help you and your family. Thank you very much, and live aloha.